What is the most unforgettable sentence that someone said to you? Guy the first worked with was reading a book and suddenly said, "There's a lot of words on the page." Then he showed it to the girl sitting next to him and said, "Look at all the words on this page." I don't know if he had just never read a book before or was trying to show off. This has stuck with me for 10 years. There was a suicide attack where my brother used to work. I was watching TV and randomly changed to a news channel. It had just happened, and they were talking about it. Took me a couple of seconds to understand it happened where he works. I immediately call him, and he answers the phone after a few rings and says, "I survived. It's been 10 years, and I don't think I'll be ever able to forget that. This is officer, I'm with your mom right now. Your sister was just shot by her boyfriend and she didn't make it. 4 a.m. phone call last year. Could hear my mom screaming at the top of her lungs in the background. Yeah, we're okay now but not fully recovered. Prob never will be." Said in my presence. A mother to a teenage son. In an urgent care waiting room. In loud whisper. "I swear to God, I will take you outside and I will set you on fire. You can do better, Dad." At first, it may sound disapproving or condescending, but the tone in which he said this was more encouraging and inspiring. It was a simple way of saying, "You're doing great, I'm proud of you, keep going. Because I know you still have much more potential. I won't even come out of my bed for the amount of money you make." A financial CO to me, a teacher. "You don't always have to tell me you love me. It's annoying when you say it every day." Mom to 10-year-old me. "If anything happens to her, I'm going to kill you. They can lock me up and throw away the key. And I won't care. Because you'll finally be dead." My father to me. Age 11. After he and my mom had a fight and she left for a drive after she had come home from the hospital. Post-hysterectomy. She just a pinky out turkey leg whore. I have so many questions. And due to the accent I couldn't figure out where the proper inflection was. Is it a whore eating a turkey leg with her pinky out? Is it a whore that thinks she's fancy with thunder thighs? This lives rent-free in my mind to this day. I think I've already landed. That's what my boyfriend said to me when I told him that I thought I was falling in love with him. Just remember, no matter how bad you fuck up, someone else has fucked up even worse. Followed later in the day by "I take it back. Today you're someone else." Probably 7 or 8 years ago, I mentioned to a friend that I hadn't been drinking for a couple weeks. I drank heavily at the time. He said, "We like you better." The sobriety didn't last at the time, but I am now 2 years sober. I doubt he remembers saying that. After being 2 years sober, I often think I like me better too. He's still a good friend and was the first person I told when I hit 2 months sober. The start of my current sobriety. The longest I had went at the time. Also, I have one better. 2 years ago my daughter was born with a rare genetic terminal illness. While in the NICU the doctor said with everything that can go wrong. It's a miracle every time a healthy child is born. That really stuck with me. My daughter died 3 weeks ago. I think about that all the time. I was at the grocery store yesterday and a woman had 2 kids with her and I thought, wow, she got 2 miracles in her life. I was considering breaking up with my then girlfriend many years ago. My dad, who never commented on any of my GFs, told me, "Son, that woman is a keeper." He was right. I ended up marrying her and we've had a wonderful life since. Not making a decision is a decision. I was told that yesterday by a dude who works at a law firm in estate planning. I don't love you anymore. OMG. I was a fucking disaster for a long time after that. This was the mother of my children, 16 years of marriage. Absolutely devastated me. I will never ever forget that day. I lost my shit. For a while after that, got into a bad fight as a teenager in school. My dad said to me afterwards, masculinity is the capability of being a bomb. Maturity is knowing when to light the fuse. Really changed my perspective on knowing when to keep my composure. Purpose of life is to find your gift, and then to start giving it away. Any boy who makes you cry isn't worth your tears. Friend of my mom's. I was 13 and have never forgotten that. It's often helped me remember my self-worth in bad relationships. You weren't raped. You're just trying to get out of the consequences of your choices. My mom, after I told her I was raped and the rape got me pregnant. Edit, I'm okay now. It happened almost 30 years ago. You can't prevent what you can't predict. You will need to learn sign language. If a man tells you he knows everything about women, stay away from him. If he'll lie about that, he'll lie about anything. My grandfather. Don't take life too seriously. You'll never get out alive. There are men who like big women, said to a 15-year-old overweight me by my stepmother. You look like a cheap slut. My mom. To 14-year-old me. And in front of several of my friends, one of whom I had a crush on, because I had the audacity to try to leave the house while wearing jeans that had a hole in one knee. It's 40 years later, and she hasn't gotten any less repulsive. What have you done? Do you want to ruin your family again? Said my hysterical mother to an 11-year-old me, after she found out how I had been sexually abused and exploited for the past few. Your kids are going to be so lucky you're their mom. My 7-year-old nephew. I was like 25 and didn't have any children yet. You have a comforting presence. Thanks, wish I felt that, instead of crushing anxiety. If you leave me, you will be nothing, and have no one, pensive face, left and never looked back. I'll find you in the next life, promise. Take a step back and turn towards me. I need to see the pee come out of your penis. Said to me while taking a random piss test for the army. Oh, and this one. I wear nice underwear, but not too nice. That's how I got into this mess. Grin. I love you. I just don't like you, mum. No idea where my lack of self-esteem comes from. Life ain't fair, kid. But that doesn't mean you get to do whatever the fuck you want. Everyone on my side of the family thinks you're a whore. My dad screaming at me while I was holding my toddler son. I will never let him talk to me like that again. Cuss next time I'm going to jail. Why are you so pretty? Said to me, a man, by a very drunk and attractive woman that I'd never before met, who decided the question was worth interrupting a group conversation for. Been riding that high for close to 10 years now. Speaking of getting naked, I was at the dentist the other day. I love you, said by the only person who actually meant it. She died a few weeks later. I hope someday you learn to love yourself the way I love you. My wife said she would rather live on the street than stay with me because I am useless even though I do everything. And she barely lifts a finger anymore. My family is concerned at how beat down I am, balancing work and taking care of our 2-year-old. I am talking to attorneys now. I'll make her street life dream come true. I'm a mother of 2 sons, so I understand boys better than you do. What a woman said to me, a man. How could I ever love you as much as her? About my sister from my mother when I was about 12. I was adopted. Sister was not. I am the oldest. A friend's dad dropped us off at school shortly before passing away at home. His last words to the both of us were, if you want to touch girls' bums, wait until after school. If you want to touch guys' bums, wait till way after school. Been 15 years since then, but I'll never forget those words.